It is October and the Calgary real estate market is changing. The leaves are falling and our prices dropping. Are people not moving to Calgary anymore? Well, the reality is they are. Prices are kind of staying level for the most part. And what kind of market are we walking into? Let's take a look at some news articles, some stats, and some data and figure out what is happening in today's market. So I wanted to start off today with showing you a few articles that we've come across that are kind of showing a little bit of what the market's doing. So Zillow, which is basically a big website. A lot of people out east use this for searching for homes. It's not as popular out here. Probably yet, but they did a fantastic survey across the country talking about pandemic home buying, not panic buying. Survey shows pandemic buyers have no regrets. And this has been a really interesting article that I've dove into, and there's some really good stats. And what makes it interesting is it feels like it's a real unbiased approach to kind of what happened over the last couple years. And so as we jump in, the biggest things, I just want to do some highlights in here for you, but in this story, with a recession on the horizon, home prices have already declined. Now, again, this is talking Canadian real estate market, and yes, across the whole country, across Canada, prices have dropped in a lot of areas. Regardless, 63% of Canadians would still be happy in their home, even if the real estate market drops significantly. Okay, so concerns about home buyers who moved long distances coping poorly with their new lifestyle seem to be overblown. Instead, 91% of those who moved to a new province are happy with their home purchases today. That is very interesting, and I have heard a lot of stories or news over the last, let's call it 6 months, where people are saying people are coming and then they're leaving, they're not happy with it. And this is actually what we're seeing. 91% of people who moved here are very happy with their home purchase. We have new team members on our team who are from Ontario who moved here, and all of them are like, we love it here. This is amazing. And what's interesting, many of their family members or friends are also considering moving out here, but they're waiting for one thing. They're asking them one thing. And what is that one thing? What is the winter like this winter in Calgary? And that's what they're waiting for. And so it's really interesting when we start looking at that, because there are people who are still moving here. And so what does that mean for those of you who live and born and raised? It means a lot of, I think, good things. I think there's a lot of people who are very fearful and fear-based. I don't choose to live my life out of fear. I rather look at optimism and see what the opportunities are. And I think, and I know that with people moving here who are looking for a better life, for better lifestyle, for their family, more opportunities, all of those kind of things, it is going to only add to who we are as Albertans already. So don't be afraid of it, embrace it. These people are amazing, and they're bringing some great talents to our country, or to our province and to our city, I should say. So a year ago, waiving conditions, financing, and inspection clauses were the normal, so not having them. But 58% of Canadians who use that tactic in their home buying journey are actually still happy with their home purchase. Now, we don't love writing offers unconditional. That is never something we start out with. And sometimes there have been situations where you need to, if this is the perfect home, right? But there are other things we can do to help you through that. The same goes for pandemic buyers who offered over the list price to win the bid for their property. Results have 84% reporting they are still happy with their purchase today. So this is like some good news. Like, this isn't a mainstream news media. This is a survey from a real estate company and basically asking questions. And this is what they're finding. And I really like this, because this article, and I'll put a link to it in the description, but this article has some great things in it. And one of the things right here is, do people who made big moves regret their decision? So don't expect the pandemic migration to reverse itself anytime soon. While some homeowners found themselves ill-prepared for a lifestyle change, our survey found that most respondents who moved provinces to buy are happy with their choice. So of all Canadians who moved over 100 kilometers but stayed within their province, 85% are satisfied with their home purchase today. And of those who moved provinces, 91% are happy. And there was this lady, Nicole Victoria. So she's an author for this More Money Now, a Millennial's Guide to Financial Freedom Security. She was interviewed in here. And she actually is someone who moved her family from Ontario, and they moved outside of Edmonton. And she said of the reasons she's incredibly happy, she cites less traffic, more affordable housing, gas and childcare, lower taxes, and the ability to achieve their financial goals faster. And this is what I like the most. She said she found that most people who regretted their decision to move to a new city prioritized affordability over their lifestyle. So this is a huge key if you are planning on making a big change. Even if you're leaving Calgary and you're moving somewhere else and you need to sell your home here and you want us to help you with that, or if you're moving here and you want us to help you find a property, lifestyle is probably the most important thing you want to look at. Don't just focus on affordability. So find somewhere that is affordable, that is going to work for you, but also find the place that fits your lifestyle. Know what you want. I've been talking to a lot of agents who are considering joining our team and making changes. And the question that I've been asking them, as well as home buyers and sellers that I've been talking to lately, is what is it that you want? Do you have a list? Write down what you want. Because if you don't know what you want, who does, right? And so this is a very important thing. And you need to know what is it that you need and want for your lifestyle when you're making a big change.
If you've been following the Calgary real estate market over the last number of months and watching our videos or going to our website, we want to tell you something special. There is a real lack of homes on the market right now, good properties that our buyers are looking for. So if you have thought about moving up, moving down, selling a rental, whatever it is, we should talk. And if you don't know already, we have already helped a family move every 14 hours so far in 2022. So go ahead, click through, and let's chat.
And so lastly, in this article, it actually has a breakdown of some of the major stats they found. So 79% of buyers used a real estate agent. 43% used a mortgage broker. Now that actually surprises me. If you were making a change, truly consider working with a mortgage broker. There are some amazing individuals at banks, but sometimes those banks can only offer you like a small amount of products. But if you go to a mortgage broker, you can have so many more products and options available to you that help you on the buying process. So that was really surprising to me. They only viewed the property in person once. And they said in person because of something else here. They viewed the property in person more than once. So that was about 39 and 40%. 28% of the buyers offered over list price. You know, those were the days. It's not anymore. We still have actually multiple offers. I mean, I can think of about 4 or 5, 3 or 4 maybe. I don't think there's 5, 3 or 4 that happened over the last week and a half that the team has told everyone about, right? So that stuff is happening. And in the higher price points too. It's not like just the average 4, 5, 6 price points. Some of them were 8 and 9s and even over. 27% of the buyers attended an open house. 21% participated in a bidding war, so multiple offers. 20% attended a virtual viewing. So this is something we have done a lot of, and we have actually sold a whole bunch of homes where people didn't even see them until they came for possession day. Even last week, one of you who has been watching us forever was planning on moving to Calgary, reached out, we connected with you, and we found the perfect house through virtual showings. And I think you're coming out this weekend to actually do the home inspection because you were planning on coming out, but the right one was there. And so we helped you through that, and that was pretty cool. So 17% waived their inspection conditions, meaning 17% of the buyers did not have an inspection condition, and 11% did not have financing conditions. And so multiple offers, a lot of times we found that you would remove your home inspection but keep a really short financing condition. So that's why those percentages are different, I would say. But regardless, I think not having conditions is not a good thing. And we are in a market now that you can. So that's fantastic. And 8% purchase the property sight unseen. And so I would agree that we probably are close to that same percentage of the transactions we did this last year over the last 12 months or so are about that, where many people bought unseen until they had the keys and it was physically theirs. So the next article I want to show you is actually about affordability. And so I think this is in Yahoo News or Yahoo Finance, but this article, I think I've seen it in a couple different places, but home prices have never been so unaffordable in Canada, says RBC. Now, again, these types of headlines, I want to be very, very clear here. Headlines are made to terrify, not clarify. So if you are reading the news or watching the news and you're only listening to the headlines, your life is going to be very fearful. I promise. Read more, learn more, talk to people, dig deeper into what those headlines actually are saying, because if you read this article, you would actually see, no, it's not across Canada, it's in some areas. And it says right here, it would take 90% of the average household income to cover the home ownership costs in Vancouver and 83% in Toronto. That is staggering. 83 to 90% of your household income has to go to your household costs in some of the largest cities in our country. And home ownership costs would require only 38% and 29% in Calgary and Edmonton. There is a massive, massive difference here. And this is why we are seeing people moving to Alberta. For those that live here, for those that watch this, that are from here, who have been here a long time, we also can feel like it's becoming unaffordable. But when you actually kind of step out of the weeds, meaning if you stop looking at just what is in around us in Calgary here, and you start looking what is happening in other areas of the country that we are a part of, we are actually extremely affordable. And that is why we have such a move happening here. I want to show you a video that we found online that is talking about this exact thing. The province of Alberta is putting out ads, and you might have seen this, but this is firsthand someone in Toronto showing what is out there. Isn't that crazy? That is what is happening. This is what people are seeing in Vancouver and Toronto. The province, the government, good or bad, right or wrong, you love it, you hate it, this is what's happening because it's true. Calgary, Edmonton, Alberta, I think what's different now is we are becoming more diversified in the type of economy that we have here, specifically in Calgary. And what's really cool about that is that that is going to bring more stability in the future. Not tomorrow, not next year, but maybe in 10 years. And as that affordability, all those things happen, as people realize that the winter isn't so bad and you're actually going to be okay here if you move here, that is going to be okay. And for those in Calgary, embrace these new people. These are new employees for you. These are new coworkers. These are potentially new job people that you can work with, collaborate with, create something with. So don't be a little bit kind of angry that people are moving here and they're jacking up prices, because that's not truly what's happening. These people are bringing skills. These people are coming from some of the biggest cities in our country, and they're attracted to here. I have heard of so many people moving here, and this is exciting for me because this means there's more opportunities for you, for your kids, and in the future. And whether you believe it or not, or you agree or not, that's okay. Tell me in the comments, because I know you're going to anyways, but that is truly what I believe. There are more people that we are going to be able to create a bigger and better future with because of what is happening right now. And now, the next thing I want to show you is this right here. And this is actually talking about this exact thing. More Ontarios are leaving for Alberta, Stats Canada and data show. And I'll link both to these two articles as well in the notes, but I don't want to dive into this too much. But what I actually want to show you, so Alberta is calling, which you saw all the ads, and Canadian and other provinces appear to be listening. So right here, Ontario was the biggest driver of Alberta's net population gain of 6,200 people in the second quarter. That's up from the same quarter last year when Alberta had a net gain of only 281 people. At the same time, Ontario recorded the largest outflow of people since tracking the data, with about 28,000 people moved into Ontario from other provinces when nearly 49,000 people moved out. And right here, up a little bit further, I think I skipped over this, but the data released on Wednesday showed that 10,000 people moved from other provinces to Alberta, and this is the largest net gain for the province since 2014, more than double from the same period last year. So if you look at the data, and you look at the stats. So I went to StatsCan, I pulled the information, and this is what it came out with. And hopefully you can read this and see this, but what this is Q2 2021, and this is Q2 2022. So I just grabbed this numbers, the basic numbers of in-migration and out-migration for Alberta. And we were in a loss in Q2 of 2021, but then ever since Q3 2021, there has been these gains. And so if you actually look at only the gain, quarters, I should say, not months, which is now a full year, we have a 21,660 net gain growth here in Alberta. 72,000 people left, and 93 or almost 94,000 people moved to Alberta. And so this is what is happening. You can't stop it. People are looking for affordability tied with a good lifestyle. And those are the buyers that are happy. And I think that's super, super important to remember is it's not just affordability, it's lifestyle. And those that are looking for a better lifestyle, more tied with affordability, are going to be very happy and are going to stay here long term. So don't be fully afraid that everyone's gonna just jet out of here in the next 2 years because they moved here. I don't think that's gonna be the case. Hopefully it's not, and maybe I'm wrong, but I really don't think it will be. All right, so let's jump into numbers. Let's talk about what's happening in the market, what we're seeing, what's going on. And 164% of all the homes listed have sold in the last 3 months in Calgary. So remember, this is 90-day data, so it's a lot longer than just the last month. The city of Calgary is currently sitting at 1.83 months of inventory, which you can see, I think I can highlight this. Yeah, 1.83 months of inventory with a total of 3,700 homes on the market and 6,100 homes sold over the last 90 days. 3,700 homes on the market. That is nothing. And I'll show you more info on that shortly. Months of inventory. So you can see this is kind of that whole buyer's balance, seller's market. So again, you can go to chamberlaingroup.ca/Calgary Estate Market. You can find this and you can dig in, you can look at the data. I'll put a link in the description as well, but jump in and look. If there's areas that you're considering buying or trying to figure out your price point. So if you know that you're approved or willing to look around the 7 to 900, well, these are the average prices. These are the communities that have those average prices. It doesn't mean that there's not other options, but it's a great place to start looking, right? And then reach out to us. You can see the little bubble down here, this little enter your message. This actually is, sometimes I jump on there and I'm answering some of these messages, but between myself, a couple of our team, we're jumping in there and we're talking to you guys who are on our website. So come there, chat with us and let us help you guys out. You can go through, there's a lot of information in here, but what I would rather show you is this. So this is the data. This is some stats. This is what's happening in the market. Sales versus new listings in Calgary. And so with that, you can see some of this is the most recent information right here. And so what's interesting is there has been a trend where the number of sales have been increasing, right? And with that, so has the number of new listings come on. Now the number of new listings has been dropping quite a bit. It feels a little bit abnormal because if we were walking into a market where prices are going to go up, inventory needs to go up because it's all about what? Supply and demand. So if the supply is increasing and demand is decreasing, prices will drop. But that is not what's happening. Demand has not dropped. Demand has less urgency. Let's put it that way. I think there's still a strong demand for Calgary, but there's not an urgent demand. Like, I need to get this now. That has gone. That is past. I don't think we're going to see that again, but there is still a demand out there. When you tie that with the supply is low. So what does that mean? Prices are probably going to stay the same. They may increase in the future. They may drop a little depending on seasonality. And summer is typically a time when the market slows down. But over the last 3 years, this whole pandemic 2 years, it hasn't slowed down. We haven't had any seasonality throughout the year where the market's been able to breathe. And to me, that is what has happened over the summer and into the fall. Typically, we don't see the market pick up kind of until mid, maybe sometimes end of September, and it can kind of have a little bit of life until the end of the year. This year could be a little bit different. This year, because we have interest rates, that whole conversation, the next report or the next potential increase, which probably will increase again by the end of this month, all of these things are kind of sitting out there and kind of keeping that kind of just a slower kind of feel. So that urgency is not there, but it doesn't mean the demand has left, right? It's just the urgency that has left. And so as we jump in, you can kind of see this. I will zoom in. So this is actually, I'll give you a little bit of history here. January 13th, so 2013, and this is now 2022. So you can see we were sitting in kind of a balanced market back in 2013, 2014. This is when we kind of saw prices the last time go up a little bit. And for the longest time, we have been sitting in a sometimes very strong buyer's market for the whole city. So now all of a sudden, when we start seeing our market changing and people interested in us, it's very confusing for those that are from here, because we remember this where nobody out east or from out west remembers that, right? And so when they're looking at our market, all they're seeing is this, and it's affordable, and actually it's a great place to live. So why wouldn't we live here? And so it's interesting to see. My personal, what I think will happen is we will probably stay within this balance. It might do this, but we're gonna stay within that balanced market for a little bit until we see next spring. And why I say next spring is because we could see another kind of push of people coming here, because they're gonna go, you're right, the winter wasn't that bad. So we'll see what happens. This here is the benchmark price. So it kind of just shows you the benchmark price in Calgary. When prices are increasing, you know, it's in a positive percentage. When they're kind of just floating or decreasing, you see a lot more down than up inside this section. And then we saw some big pushes, and right now we've seen some little decreases over the last couple months, which is okay. This happened. If you have a property and you've lived here for a while, your home's value is higher than what it was before. And so making that change and moving up to another house, finding more space, whatever it is you need to do, make adjustments, pay off debts, whatever it is, there's more options now. We haven't had that for a long time with the equity in our properties, right? Here shows the inventory tied with benchmark price. So you can see the prices that have gone up since 2020 right here. And we've also seen basically a downward trend of inventory. And this is kind of interesting because, again, inventory has been dropping. It's not going the other way like it is in many other major cities. Here again is just benchmark price. So you can see average prices. So average and median prices both increased over this last month. Where the benchmark price just dropped a tiny bit. And so the average and median will always swing, but the benchmark price kind of gives more of a true number. Now, this I find very interesting. I want to adjust this. All right. This is the blue line on the top of each of these charts is active listings. The red line is the sales that happened over the last 30 days. So the total number on a 30-day rolling. And the yellow is the number of conditional homes. Again, a 30-day rolling number. So there's a couple things here. I'm going to start in the top left. So this one here, the actives have kind of been staying fairly straightforward, but had a drop here. Now this one, their sales have been dropping with the inventory kind of staying the same. This one down on the top right, their inventory has been increasing and their sales have slightly been dropping. Well, not slightly, I should say. That's 100 sales back here and that's 50 there. So they've dropped maybe 25% or maybe 15 to 25%. This one down here on the bottom left, this one has stayed fairly consistent, but their sales right around somewhere in August kind of took a big drop. And this one here, inventory has been slowly declining, which is almost the exact same slope as the sales. Okay. I don't know if you can hear that dog barking, but we are a pet-friendly office. So what is interesting about this is one of these charts is Calgary, one of these charts is Airdrie, one is Cochrane, and one is Okotoks. I'm gonna show you which ones are which. The first thing I'm gonna show you is, and if you could guess, I don't know what you would say, but this one down here is Calgary, okay? Up here, this is Airdrie. This one over here is Cochrane, and this one over here is Okotoks. So what is very interesting, and I've always said this before, is when Calgary's market, when we're seeing a shift, when we're seeing things starting to slowly shift, what happens is it's almost like a ring. So what this means is you have Cochrane over here, you have Airdrie up here, you have Okotoks down here, and then there is two other little on the east side, two other smaller areas, one called Chestermere, one called Strathmore, and then High River is down here. So these are some of the bedroom outside cities or towns of Calgary that people will commute in, they'll live in. They're great options and they're fantastic little areas. Now, what happens is if this is downtown Calgary, when the market is dropping a little bit, it usually starts out here on the outside of this circle and moves its way in. And this is what I've seen over the last 18 years because our market does go up and down. It's not just this straight shoot to the moon like a lot of other cities in the country. So as the market has been shifting, this is kind of what happens in our market. And so it starts on the outside and moves its way in. And then when the market's increasing, it usually starts on the in and moves its way out. So it's kind of this reverse wave almost, right? So if you go back to this chart, this is kind of what's happening. So a place like Cochrane, which is out here, which is here on this one, their inventory has been increasing while their sales are decreasing. For Airdrie, their inventory has pretty much stayed the same. It's dropped a little bit, but their sales have really dropped off, okay? So the sales out there, so the inventory stay the same, but just there's not as many people buying. Okotoks, you have, again, since August, you have this section right here of when the market has started to shift a little bit and things are slowing down. But what's different about Calgary is if we're gonna follow suit, we should see something where these sales start dropping off, like there's a big drop off. And if we see that, then we know that that wave is kind of coming into the city too. But right here, I mean, our number of actives are also decreasing. So that says to me, supply and demand. That's all this is, that there's still people moving, there's still people making decisions. The inventory is dropping or adjusting the same as the sales right now, which is an okay thing in my books. And so, yeah. So if you find this interesting and you want more information, head on over to our Instagram page where we actually talked about some pricing so you can see some of that, what's happening there, just at Chamberlain Group on Instagram. Or go watch this video. This video here is talking about some of the worst walkable neighborhoods in Calgary. And if you are moving here or you're planning on making a change inside the city and you want to be able to walk in your community and have amenities as tied to that, then these are some of the areas you may want to avoid. So go over there, watch that, and we'll see you guys on that video. No, sorry, that's all. I'm good. It wasn't gonna be better. And the thing is, no, I said that too many times. And the Calgary real estate mark is changing. Not market. Okay, so I wanted today, nope, there we go. So it's almost like I planned on doing this and I forgot that I was gonna do this.